Hey everyone, and welcome back to Sasquatch Theory. In this episode, we have a few stories that were submitted about orbs and Sasquatch in relation to one another. So if you are into the spiritual or mystical side of Bigfoot, you will definitely want to listen to these short stories. Towards the end of this video, I share my thoughts and theories and personal experiences about why I think Bigfoot is spiritual and how it operates in our physical realm. If you have an encounter with an orb associated with Bigfoot, please send your story to SasquatchTheory@outlook.com. This next short story was written and read by a woman out of Independence, Missouri. Alright, let's get into it.
Hello, and thank you for your interest in such mind-blowing phenomena and your open platform of sharing. I have been trying to figure out for years what my best girlfriend from junior high and I saw years ago. In 1979, my girlfriend and I took one of my parents' cars out for a joyride one Friday night while they were out for the evening. We lived in Liberty, Missouri, home of Jesse James' first daylight bank robbery. At that time, in 1979, Liberty, Missouri was a cow town, and it's now a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri, that's so built up there really isn't that much land anymore like it had in the old days. Just expensive, overpriced houses, strip malls, and restaurants. We're both females and always like to go and get into mischief together. She was driving the car because I didn't have a license yet and I didn't know how to drive at the time. I remember looking over at a dry creek bed with trees to the right of us, and hovering about 20 feet up in the air was an orange orb light that would stop if we stopped and would go as she accelerated the car. It was parallel to us and seemed to just follow us at our pace while it would move up and down, side to side, and forward. I asked if she saw it, and she said that she did see it also. It stayed behind the tree line about 20 feet in the air. It freaked us out as it followed us while it floated through all the trees. We made it back to my house as quickly as possible as we prayed to lose it and hoped whatever it was couldn't follow us back to my house. This was in 1979, before any drones, lasers, etc. were available for everyday use. A few months later, after the incident with the car, I was staying at my brother's. He had an apartment in Independence, Missouri, and I was sleeping on his couch after drinking and crashed to crash out. I awoke in the middle of the night, I don't know why, and saw a huge orange glowing ball about 3.5 feet in circumference, slowly coming out of the hall and towards me. It turned the corner slowly and floated out and through the patio door of his second floor apartment. It freaked me out. It was just crazy. It was the same color orange in appearance as what we saw the night we had taken the car out for the joyride. I've always had an instinct that maybe I'm psychic or can feel things, and have had many things that I've seen, felt, and witnessed. I never really knew anyone else that had experiences like me, and my family always thought I just had a very vivid imagination.
So this was actually an interview that I did when I first started the channel, but unfortunately, my sound wasn't working. Like, I could hear her, but I couldn't hear myself on the playback. And that was a bummer, but I'm glad to get her story out. In our conversation, she asked me about the orb that I had seen. And I'll tell you guys right now, it was at an old place that I used to live at. I was on the back deck porch one night, and I was looking out at the stars, and I noticed this one star. And I was thinking to myself, what planet is that? You know, it's pretty big. It's a lot bigger than the rest of the stars, and it's a bright red orange color. So I thought that's got to be Mars or Venus or something like that. Well, all of a sudden this star starts getting closer, closer, and closer until eventually it's really big, and it's hovering in my backyard. Basically, it was yellowish orange, and it was really bright. As I stared at it, it started changing colors. It was flickering, almost like an ambulance light and a disco ball mixed into one. And all of a sudden, it started moving really slowly to the front of the yard. And it really seemed like it was observing me. It took notice of me noticing it. And it seemed like it was way out there in the galaxy or in the universe. And it came to me, which was really odd. Anyways, at this point, this thing's in the front yard and it's really close now and it's going off like a strobe light. Well, all of a sudden, it shoots off, quartering away up into the air, and it seems like it got sucked into a black hole. I don't know how to explain it, but it was so fast that I can't explain it. But yeah, it was gone and that was it. Another strange thing about the property is there was a lot of paranormal activity going on, and I don't know if it was connected or a separate phenomenon going on in the same area. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts about the orbs? And do you think the orb is the origin of Bigfoot, UFOs, and paranormal activity? That's kind of my theory. That's something that I put together in my own mind. And I believe the orb is the origin of all this activity. I don't know why, but it just seems like whatever topic you're in, the orb is associated within it. And the Bible doesn't mention Bigfoot, but what it does mention is beings of light. And I think that's maybe the key to all of this. You know, we operate off of physical food. That is our fuel. But these beings of light operate off of energy. So they are physical, but at the same time, their food is not of this world. All right, let's move on to the next email, and this one talks about Bigfoot and orbs. Both of these storytellers did an excellent job at writing out their emails, so I really appreciate it, and thank you for choosing Sasquatch Theory to tell your story. All right, let's dive into this next email, guys. My name is Jason Sinclair, and my story took place where I was living with my ex-girlfriend at her house. She lived outside of Vonore, Tennessee, near Fort Loudon Lake. The house sat in a valley surrounded by mountains. Back then, I didn't know anything about Sasquatch. It wasn't until last year when I started watching documentaries on the subject. I started watching your channel, and that's when all the pieces of the puzzle started to come together. Back then, I assumed it was someone sneaking around the property, but this went on for about 2 years that I lived there. I used to install car audio. When I was younger, I had bought a new truck and put a lot of money in the equipment, along with a car alarm, and at least 5 days out of the week, the alarm would go off almost around the same time, every night, around 3 a.m. I figured someone was throwing rocks or smacking the truck to test to see if the alarm was on. Nothing was ever stolen. Finally, after months of this, I called the cops to come out and told them someone was prowling around the property. I had an assault rifle at the time. It was around 3 a.m. this time, and since the officers didn't seem too worried about helping me search around the woods, I told my girlfriend I was going to check it out myself. So I walked down our driveway and down the roadways until I was on the opposite side of the mountain to see if I could catch him walking out of the woods. I had my rifle and a 1 million candle power spotlight, so I walked off the roadways and crouched down in a small ditch. I was there roughly about 30 minutes, and I saw what I thought was a small flashlight coming down the side of the hill, but something seemed off because it seemed to be floating. I waited till I thought it was close enough to hit it with the spotlight. I threw the spotlight up and immediately it went out, which freaked me out because it was fully charged and I didn't have another light on me at the moment. I scanned the side of the hill, but didn't see the light anymore and didn't hear anything. So I went back down the road, went back to the house and checked on everything and went to bed. I clearly remember one night, it was around 11:30 p.m., and I was sitting in my girlfriend's Mustang in the driveway, bent down, wiring a harness for a new radio, and I heard footsteps in the woods to the left of me close to the shed. And she had a little chihuahua that started barking and ran up into the woods. All of a sudden, I heard the dog yelp, and I never heard it again. I hollered for the dog until she brought my gun out to me. I went to the edge of the woods and I couldn't hear anything. So I waited till the next morning to go look for the dog, but never saw the dog again, and we never figured out what happened to it. There were a few other incidents, like watching TV, and someone or something hit the side of the house. We could never figure out anything. At this time, Sasquatch wasn't even a thought in my mind. But now that I'm learning more about the subject, everything is starting to make sense, like the light I observed and thought was a flashlight. The way it acted is exactly like the orbs everyone has described. I'm constantly trying to think back about everything that went on to see if it matches up with the activity that others have described. I can't get it out of my mind, and I'm definitely going back to that area sometime during the day to see if I can find anything in the woods, such as footprints or tree structures. I'm not going to be satisfied until I do. Anyway, I really enjoy your channel. I have 6 kids now and married. A few of my boys watch your documentaries with me. My oldest son is 15 and makes fun of the subject, and I try not to get mad. But for some reason, it really gets under my skin. I've never actually laid eyes on a Sasquatch, but I know with everything inside of me that they are real. Anyway, thanks for letting me share my story, and if you're ever down this way, I would gladly take you there where all this took place. Thanks. Alright guys, what do you think about the orbs? And do you think there is some type of intelligence in the universe observing us at all times? Some type of invisible force that we can't see, but it can see us, and it knows everything we're doing at all times, and possibly, sometimes, the stars that you're looking at could be some type of intelligent life, or possibly even a mothership. Could it possibly be something so evil and intelligent that even our own government chooses not to tell us? It makes you wonder what they really found on the moon and what they really experienced out in space. People can easily say, well, they didn't find anything valuable up there, so they had no reason to go back. But one trip and a few samples does not determine the entire moon. I wouldn't think, but maybe it is. Maybe the entire moon is made out of the same rock, dirt, and everything's the same. But if it broke off of the Earth millions of years ago, then it's going to have different properties. So why wouldn't we go back? I believe there's something out there, and it's something dark going on that we aren't being told about, and it controls our everyday lives, and the way we perceive the universe and our own lives is not the way we think it is. Math is still math, up is still up, but there are things that are being hidden from us, and there are key aspects to the universe that could deeply impact our lives. All right, I really appreciate everybody listening, and if you have had a Bigfoot encounter that you would like to share on the channel, you can contact me at SasquatchTheory@outlook.com. If you would like to join Sasquatch Theory on Facebook, Instagram, and even SoundCloud, you can find links in the description down below. If you would like to help out the channel, you could purchase a new t-shirt or donate to the PayPal donate link. All right, that is it for now, and I will catch you guys on the next one.